First tonight, farmers in Dickinson County, Iowa got hit hard by historic flooding in the summer of 2024. Well, tonight, they're still hurting as they face the multi-million-dollar miscalculation of federal funding. When emergency relief payments went out back in October, producers noticed that they got shorted nearly $45 per acre, and they say that added up to tens of thousands of dollars missing from their payments. Now, agricultural risk coverage at the county level, or ARTCO, is a federal crop insurance program, and it's designed to provide financial support to farmers when their actual revenue falls below a specific benchmark. Now, payments are triggered if actual revenue is less than 86% of the benchmark revenue, which is based on the Olympic average of recent yields. The program aims to cover shallow losses, and it's beneficial for crops like corn and soybeans, which may experience tighter margins. Now, farmers can choose between ARTCO and price loss coverage based on their risk preferences and the specific crops they're insuring. Among farmers, frustration is growing. Some say they tried to bring attention to this problem months ago, and tonight they're still searching for answers. KTV's Ellen Ide explains.
More than 200 farmers and concerned citizens gathered for a Tuesday morning meeting to better understand where a discrepancy in their agricultural risk coverage payments happened and what steps they can take moving forward.
So in 2024, we had the floods. Everybody heard about the floods, I'm quite sure, and it all started up here in Dickinson County, most of it, and went down south, got Spencer, and took a lot of our crops with it.
ARTCO payments are designed to offer much needed relief to producers in situations like the flood of 2024. Following a tough year for growers, folks who opted into the ARTCO program should have received a payment of $73.55 per base acre. Instead, their checks amounted to just $35.40 per acre, costing individual farmers tens of thousands of dollars.
There was not enough irrigated producers in Dickinson County to have a yield that's separated, like it separates dry land and irrigated, to allow that information to flow in. And so then when that data is collected by the FSA, there's just a blank spot because of that.
To stay in accordance with Farm Bill bylaws, Dickinson County payments were calculated by taking the average yields of two neighboring counties, Palo Alto and Osceola.
I do not believe that this is something that you could call the FSA office and they say, okay, yeah, I'll send you a payment for the difference. I mean, this is much higher than a local FSA office, and something's going to have to be done, you know, from a legislative or congressional or from a senator perspective.
With 98,000 acres in Dickinson County enrolled in the ARTCO program, the underpayment has totaled nearly $4.5 million that is expected to have a ripple effect on the local economy.
We would love to have somebody stand up and say, hey, you guys, we know this is going on. We're trying to fix it. Give us like what, a month? Give us a timeline. And, you know, this is not that we're blaming anyone. It's just that we would like to see this taken care of. It's pretty major in some places because the bankers were kind of expecting people to pay their notes off with these payments.
While many producers left the meeting with more questions than answers, they hope that pressure on lawmakers at the state and federal level will help to reach a solution in the near future. In Spirit Lake, Iowa, Ellen Ide, KTIV News 4.
Ellen, thanks. Meanwhile, representatives from several state and federal offices attended today's meeting, and State Representative John Wills of Spirit Lake says he's actually spoken to leaders on the national level and says Dickinson County hasn't been forgotten. But Wills admits a solution will take some time.
Right now, because it's a federal issue, the work really has to be done in Washington, D.C. And so what I know is that there is some work being done. The Undersecretary for the FSA, Farm Services Agency, is actually looking into it. They really have to take a look across the nation at all 3,400 counties to see if this has happened anyplace else. They have to look at the statute to see what they legally can do.
Several Iowa lawmakers drafted a letter to Richard Fordyce, the Undersecretary of the Agricultural for Farm Production and Conservation Department, and the letter urged him to prioritize the issue. But people at home are encouraged to reach out to representatives to keep the underpayment on the agenda.
We need to have people contacting folks in Washington, D.C. with the USDA, especially with the Farm Service Agency, and just kind of keep them on task and understanding that this is something that has to be changed, because we actually may have some farmers go out of business because of this, because the underpayment was so drastic. And so it's not something that we can just slide under the rug.
And of course, KTIV will continue to follow this story as it unfolds and bring you any new information as it is released.